The most devastating thing to me in the Epstein files is not them comparing babies to the taste of cream cheese, or saying a hot 9-year-old Brazilian, or your littlest girl was a little naughty, or the bodies that are on Zorro Ranch and that were put there by Jeffrey and Ghislaine. And it's not the fact that there will be no investigations in the United States. There's been no arrest, no inquiry. Kash Patel has said, we've done our duty, we followed the law, even though they were 2 months late following the Epstein Act. And it's not that there's not going to be any arrests, that they're going to get away with it. We don't have to wonder if this trafficking ring exists. There's already someone in jail for it. And I want us to keep in mind that it took all of this for over 1,000 women's stories to be believed in a trafficking ring we know exists. And the only person in jail for this ring is a woman. That's not even the worst part for me. The worst part of it for me is watching Christians fall at the feet of a man who was an active participant in it, and the men who aligned themselves with him. Because power apparently is their get out of jail free card. It's the same thing that happened in 2016 when Trump ran. And I remember being so deeply offended when he invoked the name of Christ, because I knew how immoral and awful he was and the things he said, especially after the grab him by the pussy comment. And I watched all these people who had raised me, people that I looked up to, people that were spiritual mentors, fall at the feet of this man. People who had told me that leadership requires moral clarity, people that had preached biblical marriage and purity, and you can't be gay, and you can't masturbate, and you can't do all these things. But then they were falling at the feet, salivating at one of the most womanizing evil men I've ever seen, building shrines to him in their household, posting pictures of him with Jesus Christ over him, pictures of him on the cross, comparing him to Cyrus of the Bible. And I realized in that moment that Christian nationalism at its core was corrupt, that Christian nationalism's God is not Jesus, it's power. And even after the release of those files, those same people, the people I grew up with, that I went to church with, that I went to school with, people that taught me integrity and right and stand for mercy and justice and honor Christ and love your neighbor, are still worshiping at his shrine. Not enough for them. Being part of a child trafficking ring, an active participant, isn't enough for them, because it was never about Jesus, it was always about power. The same people that are worried about trans athletes in bathrooms, right? Protect our girls. Really? What about those girls? And it was the realization that if that's not enough to make you leave, you never will. And the realization that people that I looked up to growing up, people that mentored me, people that changed my life, many people that saved my life, are the same people that I wouldn't tell where Anne Frank was hiding.